Hey folks, Bill here from Survival. Thank you for joining me today. Got another video for y'all. So I get asked about what I look for in a survival knife or a primary belt knife, and I thought I'd take a few minutes today and share that with you. On the table here I have 5 of my favorite options, and I thought we'd use these 5 as examples of what I look for that show the good characteristics of what I'm looking for in a knife. So with that, we'll get into it. We'll just show the 5 knives first. First over here, this is in no order, is the Tops Tom Brown tracker. And as you can see, this one isn't a stock tracker. It was reprofiled by Matt at Deadpine Knives. Has a thinned out edge here, squared off spine up here, and a sharpened saw. He did some work to it, reprofiled it. This is one of my primary knives I rotate through right now. Next up, you guys have seen my Ontario SP46. This is in the 5160. Rocking the same beat to hell and back Ontario sheath. Next up, this is the Deadpine Knives Scoundrel on AEBL. Easily one of my top 5 favorite knives right now. And that's in a JRE sheath. It does come with a good Kydex sheath. I just preferred the leather dangler. That's why we have that there. Next up, Dozier KS7, not in D2. We are actually an A2 steel on this one, which is my preferred steel for the KS7. Not that I've ever had an issue with any of the D2 KS7s I've owned. I just prefer the A2. It's a little tougher. So that's why we go with the A2 version. And lastly, the Tops Ontario collaboration for the XL Hunter in 1095, made by Tops Knives. So the one thing I think is pretty obvious with these knives is the size. We're looking at about a 5 to 6.25 inch blade on all of these. And generally in my belt knife, I'm looking for something that is 5 to about 6.5 inches. And that's what we'll go with when I'm searching. It's what I look for. It's what gives me the best options for my primary uses, which are firecraft and sheltercraft. We want to be able to split wood, delimb, and process larger diameter wood, which is why we need a bit of a larger blade. I don't consider myself a bushcrafter because I'm not out there crafting intricate things generally. About as intricate as I get is making some fish hooks and trap triggers, and all of these knives are more than capable of doing that. These are all, in Moore's words, sharpened pry bars that can manipulate wood. All these 1/4 inch thick, 3/16, 3/16, 3/16, just under 3/16, so it's at 5/32, I believe. These are all sharpened pry bars that can manipulate wood. And that's my primary thing I look at. I want a well-made, stout knife because it needs to be able to hold up under heavy use, which you guys have seen. Even the AEB and the A2 hold up very well. I have not been easy on these knives. I've never have. I'm probably the only person you will see open a can of beans with a knife using a Bob Dozier knife. But I'm sure he would be proud of that because it is getting used. So we have the size we're looking for. Steel type doesn't matter. It just needs to be quality. 1095, A2, AEBL, 5160 are all acceptable. 1080, 1075, 80 CRV 01, D2, 154 CM, all steels I'm fond of. Really, the only steels I try and stay away from are really low end, like pot metal stuff and like 420J. But even then, I have a small K-bar Dozier neck knife, I think is 420J, and it works well. I have buck knives. I have a 110 and a 112 that I believe are both 440. So even the 440s used to be, Buck's 440 used to be considered a super steel. So keep that in mind. Everything is relative as far as those go. Yes, would I like to see Ontario bring back the SP series? Yes. Would I want it in 5160? Probably. Unless they could do something like AEB, I would still want them to make it that. I love the 5160. I've beat hard on 5160 knives, never broke one. Yes, I know others have, but I know what I've put mine through, and I've never broke one. So 5160, even though it is probably the least expensive steel on the table here, is still very much high quality and a good choice of a survival knife. Now, stainless to carbon, again, doesn't matter to me much. Nothing, no true stainless here. Yes, the AEB has a high stainless content to it, and same with the A2. They are harder to tarnish, but they will tarnish nonetheless and rust. 1095, 5160, these guys, if you don't take care of them, at least do the minimal work to keep them clean, they will rust on you. I I don't care whether it's stainless, 154 cm, uh, whatever your stainless magna cut choices, that doesn't matter to me. I don't use my knife to strike a rock to produce a spark. I know that's a big thing with a lot of survival instructors. You know their names. It's just not a concern of mine. It's not something I prepare to do. I don't want to hit my knives off rocks. You never know what can happen. They should be tough enough to handle it, but things have happened. And if I get in that situation, I always have some kind of fire starting device attached to my person, whether it's a ferro rod, lighter, uh, Fresnel wrench. I always have something on me, and worst case scenario, we have a good quality knife. We can build a friction fire set. So I've never seen the need to be able to strike that rock and make a spark. I understand the case. I do. It's just not a concern of mine. I need the sharpened spine so we can strike a ferro rod, that is, but that's easily doable on all these knives. Whether you've had to take a file or sandpaper to, like I had this, or like this comes from the maker with a sharpened spine, same with the KS7. Matt reground the spine on that so we can use it with a ferro rod. This one, I had to take a piece of sandpaper and clean off some of the coating, but it does it just fine now. So, lastly, sheaths. Not all knives come with great sheaths. As example, by most Ontarios, they come with relatively garbage sheaths. I've made it work for the longest time. I am going to start looking at finding a maker who I want to make a couple sheaths for this. Probably going to go with a leather and a Kydex one of each. That knife's earned it. The new Ontario XL Hunters do come with a quality sheath. This is a high quality belt sheath. The Doziers come with a good quality Kydex. Kydex is probably my preferred, but I say that if it comes with a leather nylon sheath, I'm not going to stop from buying it. The Deadpine Matt sends his knives with a Kydex sheath generally. This is a JRE leather sheath just because I think it's easier to carry on the belt with the dangler setup. The Tops Tom Brown Tracker comes with their version of a Kydex sheath. This one is an aftermarket one. I believe it's made by Matt at Deadpine Knives. And I have it set up to carry in a baldric fashion. I don't have the strap here. It was just in the way, so I took it off. But that is something to consider. The sheath it comes with. I don't really concern myself anymore if the sheath is junk when I buy it. I can order from a maker, whether it's someone like Surprise Holster Works, Kale. There are plenty of makers on Instagram, plenty of makers out there that you can get custom sheaths from. So for me, the sheath, while it is a consideration, it's not a bad sheath. Isn't going to stop me from buying a knife I want to try or really enjoy, because I can't have a custom one made, and generally it's not going to be overly expensive to do that. So that is another consideration. Lastly, don't be afraid to use your knives. I know a lot of people talk about knives and all their knives look brand new. Excuse me, there's a plane flying over. That's not something I really do. Most of my knives you're going to see are well used, not abused, but somewhat. You can see. I am not a collector of knives. Every knife I have I use, and I use it fairly regularly. So I feel like my preferences come out of use and a history of using knives. Not everybody's going to agree with what I've said so far, and if you don't, that's fine. I want to hear what you guys think. What do you think? Is this the style knife you would prefer in your primary belt knife? About a 5 to 6.5 inch blade. Grind doesn't matter all that much to me. You can see I have different. We have full flat, saber grind, multi grinds. This is kind of a convex and saber grind. to the hollow grind of the Bob Dozier. I know a lot of people don't like a hollow grind on a knife. I've used a bunch of Doziers. I've used other knives, bucks with hollow grinds, and I've never had that much of an issue. Um, it is something to be careful with. I'm not going to go try and split a bunch of super naughty seasoned firewood with this, because then it can become an issue. But I've never had a hollow grind fail me. So grind doesn't matter all that much. Uh, Steel doesn't matter all that much. Just that it's quality and stout. Quality doesn't mean it has to be made in the U.S. I think the Jorgensen utility knife is a quality survival knife. Is it my go-to? No. Is it an acceptable knife if that's what you can afford? Yes. Um, there are plenty of other makers out there. You got Tops, SE, Condor, Cold Steel, all kinds of knife makers now. There, Demko. And we're not even getting into custom, semi-customs. The list is endless. Get a knife that is quality made, that is stout, something that is a quality steel, and something that you're going to enjoy having and using. A lot of people don't like to acknowledge it, but looks are something that matters in a knife. If you don't enjoy the appeal of a knife, you're not going to want to use it. So I generally like a utilitarian look to them. You can see I like coated blades. I like that they have some corrosion resistance, and I like that you can tell they're used. Uh, that is something I enjoy seeing. I like to see the coatings worn off a knife over time because that's a story that the knives tell. I've been using this knife for close to 20 years, and you can tell how hard it's been used. I've had this XL Hunter since they first came out, and you can see this thing's heavily used. Tops's coating is just a lot better than the Ontario one, and it doesn't wear as easy. So I'm going to finish rambling now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope this answered some questions I've got from DMs on Instagram, messages on Facebook and YouTube. If you have any other questions towards this, just drop them in the comments and I'll address them there. Until next time, guys, thank you for the support. We're about to come up on 5,000 YouTube subscribers. We're over 13,000 followers on Instagram, and we're growing daily. I really enjoy the conversations we get to have, and I hope we can continue to have them. So thank you, folks. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I generally don't talk about knives all that much unless I really have something cool to show, like those Jorgensens, because of how expensive they are, or this XL Hunter, which I am just a huge fan of because I'm an old hickory user, and this has quickly become one of my favorite knives. So thank you, folks. Hope you enjoyed this, and stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.